We are Cactus Wrestling. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.
Welcome back to Cactus Wrestling. So
The musical.
Cactus Wrestling the musical. You didn't see that one coming. Uh, that'll be our next episode. So today we shall be discussing U20 and kind of the kind of twist that Flo put on it there with the
The little college scoring they did.
college scoring based on who was committed where. And I mean, it definitely was reminiscent of even this year's NCAA tournament. You're
Yeah.
looking at a very dominant Penn State, and Cornell
100.
takes second, by almost 100-point difference.
Well, that's like, you were joking before when we looked at this and you're like, oh, like this has got to be a mistake. They just must have copied over
Yeah,
NCAA's. And it's like, nope, like Penn State 151.5 points, Cornell 55.5. And you're like, what are we looking at here, dude?
yeah. No, I mean the only one that's surprising me in the top five, like really surprises Minnesota, but I guess they're
Yeah,
doing some good, solid recruiting here.
good commits.
Yeah.
How about Iowa took 30th? They had 9 points.
Well, clearly they're not recruiting in the recruitment.
Yeah, in the
They're
freestyle
going,
area.
hey, let's go transfer portal,
Yeah.
reel you in.
It's like, let's get that guy to Cornell first, and then we'll try to
Yeah.
coax him over here.
Oh, Knox, you're going to Cornell? We'll see you in a few years.
Yeah, it's like, just keep him warm for us, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
What was funny though is, of the placers that Penn State had, there was 9 placers, and I'm like, oh well, Cornell finished 100 points behind. They probably had like only a few guys that just went on good runs, kind of like we saw at NCAA's.
Yeah.
Not the case. They had 8 guys, but
9 to 8. And there's
yeah, just
100.
100-point difference.
Did the
Insanity.
Cornell's guys take like eighth and then the Penn State guys all take first? Like,
I mean, well, so I think Penn State had like 7 in the finals, and I'll know the exact number as we kind of go through this.
very
And I'll have to think about.
uncommon of
Yeah,
Penn State to have that many guys in the finals.
yeah, and they only, theoretically underperformed. I mean, they had champs from
Weird. What? That doesn't sound like Penn State at all. Break records and underperform at the same time.
Yeah. Should have done better, guys. It's not good enough to win by 100.
Yeah.
But Luke Lillidahl absolutely dominated this bracket.
I honestly was not expecting that after the Olympic trials.
Yeah. I mean,
After the Olympic trials, he loses to Marcus Blaze. I was just like, and he barely got by Liam Cronin. I was just like,
yeah, it was 2-2 on criteria, and you're like,
I was like, okay, I guess he's not as and then
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
we even predicted to him to lose to Jax Forrest in this bracket, and how did Jax do? He defaulted out.
well, he lost and then defaulted out.
Yeah.
Must have rubbed the wrong way not winning.
Yeah. I think someone said that he got hurt, and who knows? But Luke Lillidahl techs his way through the bracket, 57 kilo domination. I think that if you're Braden Davis, you're counting your days. And you're like, I gotta get out of 25. I gotta go up. How do I beat Aaron DeGale? Because Davis wrestled in this, and he didn't do that great.
Garcia, Braden Davis did. He did nothing.
Yeah, he lost to a teammate, Kyson Garcia, who, if you're not a big Penn State fan, you're like, well, who's that?
Right. Yeah, I don't know who that is.
And, but Penn State had winners from PJ Duke at 70 kilos. Knocking
Leo
off
DeLuca?
I don't think he wrestled.
No, he didn't wrestle. Okay, because
I don't think he wrestled in it.
Okay.
PJ Duke dominated his way through. He knocked off some big guys. He beat Cannon Webster, who previously had a win over over Jesse Mendez, who not only just won a national championship, but was, doing pretty good at
Honestly, I
That's
wouldn't have been
cool.
surprised if he beat Zayn and became the Olympian this year. Like he was looking
Yeah, he
good.
was right in there. I mean, he beat up Yanni. I mean, he
He
wrestled
did
back
beat
well.
Yanni.
Yeah, on the backside. Oh
No,
no, no, he beat no,
he,
no, he beat
he,
Yanni. Yeah,
he sent
he did
Yanni to
beat.
the backside, and Yanni
Yep.
defaulted after that.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, PJ Duke's a great wrestler. I just don't see him beating Cannon Webster. And then he techs him, I believe,
Well, yeah.
with and not like a leg lace. Like he teched him, he had 2 4s. I mean, PJ Duke has a big judo background, and boy does he apply it. And next guy up to win for them was Zach Ryder at 79 kilo. I watched this match real time, and I thought he was going to blow it. I remember I was texting you guys, and he's wrestling Noah Mulvaney from Bucknell, and I said, "Oh my God, he's gassed. He's hit the wall." And Zach Ryder went from almost teching to like letting Mulvaney work his way back in. And granted, he still won by like 8 points, but man, was Ryder sucking wind hard.
Yeah.
Like even the announcers were like, "Oh, he's going to call for injury time just to catch a breather." Super not what you expected. And
Right.
not what you're hoping for a guy that Penn State guys usually have pretty darn good conditioning. So we'll see what happens with Zach Ryder, but still did enough to get the job done.
He wasn't at the weight class down. Wasn't what's his face? Didn't you say he gassed?
Ladarian Lockett.
Not Lockett. You said Sealy gassed.
No, I think Lockett gassed. I thought I
Oh,
said
Lockett gassed? Oh, okay.
Lockett. I think Lockett won, but I still think he has gas tank issues, and I'll cover that in 2 seconds. I'm going over the winners right now.
Lockett is
So no, I'm talking about Penn State winners. We'll get
oh,
to that when
oh.
we talk about
Yeah, we
the
got to focus
regular.
on the Penn State guys. What are you doing?
Don't you know Penn State's the only team that matters up until there wasn't wrestling up until Kale went there. Don't you know? That's when history started.
That's when
Um,
history started.
and the last guy to win for Penn State was 92 kilo Connor Mirasola over Justin Radmacher from Oregon State. Man, these Mirasola brothers are looking good, dude. But after that, Cornell, we talked about, they had 8 guys, but I believe the next biggest team to have the most champs was Oklahoma State with Cale Hughes at 61 kilo and Ladarian Lockett at 74. So Cale Hughes, huge win over Kyler Larkin. I was not expecting it.
Yeah, Kyler's good. Like, I mean, he
Kyler's
almost
really
went
good.
on a run also at Olympic trials.
Yeah, Kyler's really good. Like, this is not what I expected at all. That really threw me through a loop. That to see him lose to Cale Hughes. But if you're an Oklahoma State fan, like, hey, future's bright, guys. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, they got some good
you know,
guys in the transfer portal. They got some good guys coming in. They
yeah,
got some young, solid guys already there.
because
A lot of good
61
things going
kilo,
on.
that's 133. I mean, that's Dayton fixed. That's Cale Hughes should be a pretty good, transition. But I was most impressed with Ladarian Lockett, who built off of a really good Olympic trials where he teched Meyer Shapiro.
Yeah, that was. I still can't believe that happened.
But the one knock I do have on Lockett is I personally believe he has gas tank issues. I saw it at Super 32. That was the first time I noticed it. Is he has a good pace, and then he kind of slows down, and then he kind of goes into defensive mode. And I think I saw the same thing here, where he had a lead on Sealy, and I feel like he was kind of holding for a lead for a little bit and wrestling more to not lose than to win.
That's a
And
great
then
way
he
to lose.
yeah, but then he, did finish the match well, like iced the match at the end, last second takedown. Um, but the big thing that I saw with Lockett and that other people have seen as well is incredible defense. Joe Seeley, very offensive wrestler, and he could not break through Ladarian Lockett's defense. This is a guy that, super tough to score on and brings it. I mean, he teched Meyer Shapiro, and
That's the
no
guy
matter what,
returning
yeah,
number 3 at 157.
exactly. So I think he's going to be an instant guy to look out for at 163. 165. I don't think he's making 57 for college, and he might even redshirt. But this was Ladarian Lockett, Joe Seeley was a battle of former world champions. They were both U17 champions at one point, and this was a great battle. And I believe we'll see this more so with them because this is not the World Team Trials. This was just the U.S. Open for U20s.
Right.
But and then additionally, big win for Jimmy Mullen from Virginia Tech. Aiden Sinclair dominated Josh Barr at 86 kilo. I was not expecting that one.
Penn State, what?
Yeah. So, man, Josh Barr had no answer for Aiden Sinclair.
Missouri
So
stoked to have him.
he's got such heavy hips. I mean, Josh Barr has good reach, and he would get in on a leg, and Sinclair would just boom feed him the hips right to the mat. And majority of his takedowns were just go behinds off of Josh Barr's shots. And Josh Barr is someone that Penn State believes will be an All-American next season in folk style. So the future is very bright for Aiden Sinclair.
Yeah, I would say
And
so.
keep those Missouri guys rolling. Let's see who else was a big standout. Camden McDaniel had the win over Cole Mirasola. I think it was great to see Cole really mixing it up in there and doing well. I just think that he's, not big enough yet, maybe for top level 97 kilo. Although he is an incredible wrestler, I think he might redshirt and let them, try to force that growth a little bit more. But twin brother Connor looks like he's ready to go tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that was super impressive. Let's see other names that stuck out.
How about Rogatsky lost?
He did lose indeed. I'm actually going to go through, I think, just the placers right now because there's some names in there that no, I'm going to start at 57 and work up.
Oh.
So, Vinny Kilkery makes the finals for Ohio State at 57 kilo against Luke Lillidahl. Granted, he lost, but, I think it is good hopeful.
Kilkery, what didn't he beat Braden Davis or he?
Yeah, I believe he did.
Like he was but then he didn't even start.
Yeah. So I said, like, Ohio State's got a good problem there.
Yeah.
Anthony Knox, incredible, tournament for him. Third place finish. And realistically, freestyle is not his best style. So I think Cornell is going to get a great guy there. And to even add on to that is he's wrestled 120 the whole year. He's undersized for 57
I was going to say, isn't this like one of the first times he's wrestling 25?
Yeah. So he's undersized. Seth Mendoza really blew me away because this is someone that I really didn't expect to do very well. And he just, proved guys wrong and said, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do my thing. And he took fourth. That's a huge pickup for Missouri.
Well, he's the one that knocked off Forrest. So
yeah, he did. He did. He tech jacks Forrest and I'm like, what the heck's going on?
Jack Forrest fourth at Olympic trials to did not place.
To DNP at U20. But with Jax, I think we're going to see him bounce back for the World Team Trials. It seems to be his thing is, I take a loss, I learn from it, and I beat the guy the next time. Isaiah Quintero, fifth for, Purdue. Aaron Seidel, a big pickup for Virginia Tech from Pennsylvania. Isaiah Cortez, another Cornell wrestler. And Garrett Rinkin, eighth for Northern Iowa. 61 kilo, we talked about Cale Hughes and Kyler Larkin in the finals. Hughes wins over Larkin. Where things got a little bit crazier was William DeCracker for Northwestern taking third, and Jake Hockaday for Oklahoma. This was where I was a little surprised. And if you're not a big Penn State fan, you probably don't know who Kyson Garcia is, but he took fifth, and Braden Davis in the same weight class did not place.
That's a good performance there, Garcia.
Yeah. Corey Land, sixth for Northern Iowa, and Greco is, I believe, Corey Land's preferred style as well. Zan Fugit for Wisconsin, another guy that's a Greco specialist. And then Matt Botello took 8th, and he's still uncommitted right now. I would be remiss to not mention 65 kilo Bo Bassett. Bo wrestled Aiden Valencia in the finals.
That was a wild.
Man, yeah, crazy match. Aiden Valencia is a really great freestyle wrestler, and he's now lost 2 times in a row to Bo. Bo almost loses actually to someone that I don't even think even placed. At 65 kilo. It was a wild match where I was texting you guys like, oh my gosh, like, Bo's about, he's about to lose. He's up on criteria. And then Bo ices it with a last second takedown. You're like, what the heck happened? And then how does he respond? He just dominates the rest of the bracket.
I had my scare. Let's get moving.
Yeah. So, super cool to watch Bo. Great to watch Aiden Valencia, another young guy. Obviously, Bo is uncommitted this time. He's a sophomore. Aiden Valencia to Stanford. That's going to be great. Pearson Manville. I've always said when it comes to Pearson, I feel like he's always the bridesmaid, never the bride, or however that expression goes.
So he's always going to be right around the top, never actually the guy.
He always is. And, Pearson wrestles everywhere. This guy is not one of the guys that's like, oh, I'm taking time off because I want to get ready for Super 32. He's like, oh, there's a tournament right before Super 32, like the day of. I'll wrestle that, then I'll come there, and I'll take 3rd at Super 32. Like, he's always placing in the top at everywhere he goes, whether it be freestyle, Greco, or folk style. But he's just has trouble getting over that hump. And he's committed to Arizona State, took 3rd at U20. He previously had a loss to Bo Bassett at the Pennsylvania, qualifier for Fargo. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to pronounce his name wrong. Koy Buschens for NC State. Sergio Lemley made big world news.
I was kind of thinking was going to be in the best 2 out of 3, and he didn't even.
I thought he would. Yeah, I thought he was going to go further as well. Still great. Still a young guy from Michigan. Drew Gorman, 6th. Another Virginia Tech guy. They're slowly building, quietly building a pretty good program. Jackson Joy, a top guy at 145-ish this season. Him and Melvin Miller actually went back and forth in some tough matches. He's a Cornell commit. Who else is a Cornell commit? New England's own Gabe Boysu from, he took 8th. I was super excited to see how this guy wrestled because I've gotten to watch him do his thing in folk style, and he is must-see TV. In 3 years of high school wrestling, his freshman year canceled because of COVID in New England, he was undefeated. 3-time New England champion, really worked hard to put Rhode Island wrestling on the map, and I'm looking forward to see his college career continue at Cornell. And I'm sure he'll have some battles with Jackson Joy, just like they had for 7th. So 70 kilo, PJ Duke tore it up. Cody Rutledge from Nebraska took 2nd. Cannon Webster, 3rd in Illinois. Landon Robideau, 4th from Minnesota. Drayden Morton, Cal Baptist guy, 5th. Love to see Cal Baptist still getting some good wrestlers.
Why would Kale Voinovich go to Iowa with his brother when his brother lost his spot?
Yep.
Like,
you wonder. So, Kale Voinovich took 6th, and you're like, well, why still go to Iowa?
You watched your brother go from being the guy to not the guy because he couldn't win. So, yeah, let me go there.
Isaiah Jimenez for Penn takes 7th. Colin Dupuel, 8th for South Dakota State. We talked about 74 a little bit between the two Battle of the Champs.
I mean, this one had a lot of
coming out on top. Names. Yeah, a lot of familiar names in this bracket. Joe Seeley takes 2nd. Cam Steed from Missouri takes 3rd. Younger Bouzakis brother, Vince, who's obviously committed to Ohio State, takes 4th. I thought Bo Mantanona would do better than 5th. I actually thought he was going to be one of the higher guys. but still good for Michigan. Zach Hansen from Stanford, sixth. Millard, Charlie Millard from Minnesota, again another Minnesota guy, seventh, and Laird Root for North Carolina, eighth. 79 kilo. I was looking forward to watching Will Henkel versus Zach Ryder. It was a chippy match, and they had some words for each other afterward.
I love that, especially since they're going to be teammates.
They are going to be teammates. That room, iron sharpens iron. We talked. Zach Ryder wins it over Noah Mulvaney from Bucknell. Will
Doesn't
Henkel.
don't they realize not both of them can't start at the same weight? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think there's anticipation to grow, but we'll see what Penn State always figures out a way to manage it. We'll see what happens.
yeah, well,
Um,
they lost
but
Barrett.
yeah, Henkel takes third though for Penn State. Uh, Lorenzo Norman fourth for Stanford. Simon Ruiz fifth for Cornell. Again, Cornell's building a good, program. A lot of guys go there for their Spartan RTC. So looking forward to seeing that. Ethan DeLeon, Nebraska, sixth. Miles Takatis, Bucknell, seventh.
Damn.
Binghamton, Carter Bear takes eighth. 86 kilo, Aiden Sinclair had a day over Josh Barr. I still think Josh Barr is an All-American potential, but man, does Aiden Sinclair look good.
Well, then what does that say about Aiden Sinclair?
That's what I mean. So this weight had some pretty, well-known names, like Max McAneely from Minnesota, Dashiell Lamar for Cal Poly, or Lamer. That's the other Lamer brother. Ryder Rogotsky, Ohio State takes fifth.
Yeah,
Not expecting that.
Yeah, I was not expecting him to lose more than once.
Nope. Tate.
Knock the boron.
I was high on him coming out of high school. He had some pretty intense matches with a certain Iowa wrestler now, actually, who thought he was going to beat Carter, but they never even ended up wrestling, so that's disappointing. But the future still looks bright for him at Iowa State. Cole Mulhauser for Princeton. Happy to see some of these Ivy League guys, smaller Ivy League as far as wrestling goes. And Lucas Condon, eighth for Wisconsin. Almost there. Connor Mirasola over Justin Rademacher. Michael Delegata from Cornell. Again, Cornell's just building a good program, but some of these guys I wasn't expecting here, like smaller teams. Adam Haselius from Columbia takes fourth. Who takes fifth? Patrick Brophy from the Citadel. Didn't expect that one.
Boom, the Citadel.
Yeah, and then Jack Weimeyer takes sixth for Columbia. So two Columbia guys in the bracket, both placing high. A Citadel wrestler, wasn't expecting that one. And then, again, Soren Herzog for Air Force takes seventh, and Cale Whistler for Michigan State at eighth. This was a bracket that had guys placed that, from relatively smaller schools. Columbia, Oregon State, the Citadel, Air Force, Michigan State. It was great to see, the talent kind of be spread out.
Yeah, that's true.
Camden McDaniel from Nebraska beats Cole Mirasola. Steve Burrell from Virginia does a great job taking third. Thomas Deenan from South Dakota State for fourth. Max Ramberg from Augustana, which I don't believe is a Division I school.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Ian Smith for Northern Illinois takes sixth. James Blackman, uncommitted wrestler still, takes seventh. Again, love these high school guys. Cody Marshner from Southwest Minnesota State. Again, not a D3 school. Not a D1 school.
Yeah.
125, this bracket went not how I expected at all. I thought Coy Hopke was going to, do some damage here, and
right.
It was his to lose, and he did lose it.
And he did lose it.
Jimmy Mullen takes first from Virginia Tech, has a wild, pretty exciting match with Nick Sahakian for Arizona State. I've gotten to see him wrestle live. Actually, he beat that breaks off one of my heavyweights at Journeyman. Coy Hopke, who I expected to win this whole thing, takes third. Beats Aiden Ateo, who, big pickup for Oregon State. He won U20 Greco. Still, like I said, you don't really see these guys do both styles as much when they get a little older. Um, Connor Barquette from Duke takes 5th. Alex Semeneko for Brown, 6th. Vincent Mueller, 7th for Columbia. And Josh Terrell for Michigan State. But I think it's awesome that there's still guys that are uncommitted. With Bo Bassett, James Blackman, Matt Botello. But when you're a high school age guy placing at the U20s, coaches are going to come looking for you and be like, hey, we'd love to have you involved in our program and let's get you going.
No better
And,
recruiting tool than doing really well at these high level events.
Yep. And like we've talked about, I know this is just the U.S. Open, and I'm looking forward to the World Team Trials for U20, and then of course the actual U20 Worlds. But success at the U20 level, especially in freestyle, has been a very clear indicator of high level college success. So seeing some of these young recruits do so well, the sky really is the limit. And this I keep saying we're in the golden age of wrestling, and these young guys are doing so good. Uh, and I'm super excited to see how U17s does as well. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about some of those guys in the U17 video we did in a few years for U20.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they'll be right around the corner.
Oh yeah, and I'm looking forward to see what changes happen for World Team Trials, because I do expect a Luke Lillidahl, Jax Forrest matchup. I'm going to see, does Aiden Valencia have?
Going to come back with a vengeance, huh?
Oh yeah, I think Aiden Valencia is going to try to keep a trick up his sleeve for Bo Bassett when a World Team Trial spot is on the line. And there's some guys that sat out the U.S. Open, like Marcus Blaze, and what is he doing? And he went there to support his brother, did some coaching, and they caught up and they said, why didn't you wrestle? He's like, oh, I'm just tired. I didn't think I could make 57 kilo, and I just want to go, work on my training for a little bit. So, interestingly, Marcus Blaze, who is number 3 on the world team,
on the national
team, yeah, he's like, I'm not sure I'd compete at 57 kilos right now or again. He goes, obviously he's growing. So we might not get that matchup between Lillidahl, Bassett. Lillidahl, Forrest, and Marcus Blaze, like we were kind of hoping for. But we'll see what happens if he can make 57 for the World Team Trials.
Yeah,
but I'm super looking forward to that. Love U20s. Freestyle season is here, and it's not going anywhere for at least a few months. And Fargo is going to be right around the corner, so I'm sure we're going to see some of these high school guys, mixing it up at Fargo as well.
Yeah, they definitely will. Well, let us know your thoughts. Who you think, how you think this turned out? How you think that this is the future of it's what's the
future of the sport?
precursor to years to come. Is Penn State just going to continue their 100 points of dominance and Cornell is going to maintain second place, or is this not a precursor? Is this not a premonition of things to come? We'd love to hear from you. As always, thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.